Today we are taking notes on standard form. You've actually seen standard form before, we just haven't called it standard form. AX plus BY equals C, where A has to be greater than 0. A and B are not both 0, and A, B, and C are integers. This is the big part. A, B, and C have to be integers. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. Do not forget that. We have to have whole numbers, no fractions, no decimals. So right here, example 1, it says rewrite in standard form. This should look familiar. Right now it's in slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. So to go from y equals mx plus b to standard form, we have 2 steps. Our first step is to get the x over on the same side as the y. So we're going to take this negative 2/5 x and move it to the other side. We do that by adding 2/5 x to both sides. These are going to zero out. We bring down our negative 3 equals. Over here, notice we have 2/5 x and y. Those are not like terms, so we're not going to combine them. We're going to rewrite it. 2/5 x plus y equals negative 3. Now, it looks very similar to this, but don't forget, a, b, and c have to be integers, positive or negative whole numbers. So we cannot have this fraction. The easiest way to get rid of a fraction is by multiplying by its denominator. So we're going to multiply all 3 terms by the denominator. So times 5, and times 5. I'm going to bring mine over here because I ran out of room. So over here, when you do 5 times 2/5, the 5s are going to cancel each other out. We're going to bring over the 2x. Now we have that whole number we needed. Plus 5 times y is 5y equals negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Now it's in ax plus by equals c, with all of them being whole numbers. We'll do letter B in class together. So example 2, we're going to graph by using the x and y intercepts. So we have 3 steps for this. Step 1 is to plug in for y and solve for x. Step 2 is the opposite. Plug in for x and solve for y. Step 3 is plot the intercepts. Connect dots and draw arrows. So we're going to do an example together. Notice step 1 says plug in for y. So right here, we're plugging in, plug in 0 for y. Plug in 0 for x. Okay? So we're going to take right here and we're going to plug in 0 where that y is. So we have 2x minus 6, but instead of y, we're plugging in 0. And then we're going to solve for the x value. So negative 6 times 0, remember we do multiplication first. What does this equal? 0. So 2x minus 0 equals 12. 2x minus 0 is just 2x equals 12. Last step, divide by 2, divide by 2. Those went out, so x equals 6. This is our x-intercept. So now we're going to do the same thing, but instead of plugging in for y, we're plugging in for x this time. So we have 2 times 0 minus 6y equals 12. 2 times 0 gives us 0 minus 6y equals 12. 0 minus 6y is just negative 6y equals 12. From there we divide by negative 6. Those one out. Y equals negative 2. Step 3 says plot the intercepts. I have an intercept on the x-axis at 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the y-axis I have negative 2. So y-axis down 1, 2. Notice I have my 2 dots. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to connect the dots and draw my arrows. And that's it. We'll do example D in class.